Welcome to the call. Couple announcements. Next week is Memorial Day. Yay. So we will not have any calls on Monday. So the calls that you see here today are happening, but next week they will not. So we always have the attraction training for if you're a game changer, you have access to, well, everybody here would be. So you'd have access to that. Real estate B school, you have access to the $1 Million Agent Method. You can get access to that in the school. So you always have the Zoom link, but I think it doesn't change. And then Tuesday, we have our collaborative mastermind, and Garrett Maroon is going to be our guest speaker. And he's going to talk about building predictable, profitable businesses that align with who you are. And so that will be really great. That's our Tuesday. It used to be called Production Mastermind. Now it's called the Collaborative Call. So would love to see you guys there. It's kind of been a slow start, but we only have been on for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
So
2 weeks.
yeah.
And also on the 29th at 3:30 Eastern time, I'm going to have a luxury agent attraction. So I'll send that out so you can get that on the next goods, but I just wanted to give
Oh,
everybody a heads up.
yeah, that's awesome. Yes, send that over and then we can post it in the Facebook group too, or you could as well, whatever's easier.
Mhm. Yep.
Hey, all right, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, and then we've got a whole bunch of new members. So welcome to Roger, Michael, Angela, Beth, Loretta, Pioneer, and Cynthia. So welcome. We have lots of people out there joining our network, which is really, really great. So if you see them around, say hello. All right, and then announcements. I'm actually going to show you this one. If you didn't see the email, let me reshare my screen here. If you didn't see the email, EXP launched their new EXP University. So you just go to expuniversity.com and you can put in your login and then you will have access to everything. It's laid out so nice, you guys. So let me go through it just really quick. At the bottom, it has the featured training programs. So if you want to get into FastCap, you would go here. If you are a solo agent, I believe there might be, nope, there isn't. I thought there was a little bit of a minimum on it, but there isn't, it looks like. So the third Tuesday of every month, you can get information about that. The Team Mastery Series, you have to be doing 20 million in volume on a team. Then you'll have access to that. And then Agent Essentials, our live training workshops around all the tools here at EXP. Then at the top, you can go to the different training paths. So if you're an emerging agent, there are special training programs for you, and they just kind of have it laid out. So if you have a new agent joining and they're brand new to real estate, this is a great place to point them. Especially in your, specific onboarding. If they are a capping and icon agent, there are icon training programs that are listed here. And so on and so forth. Live programs, Fast Cap, we just talked about. Fast Attract is actually going to be, it's a pilot program. It's a 6-week program based on agent attraction. So you
Hmm.
can have access to the course. Oh, they do. Oh, no. So it's not fully released yet. Here we go, June 18th. But you can go in and sign up, and then they kind of have a little bit from the toolkits in here, which you can see. So I signed up for that. I want to see what everything is about. And then, of course, again, it has the team and elite mastery calls. Then on demand, we've got our agent essentials, the mentor program, winning clients and making it rain. And then the EXP calendar is in here as well. So I'll show you that quick. That pulls up. Yeah. So it's got everything like before. If you click onto it in your EXP dashboard, it'll look just like this. So you can see all of these classes here, which is nice. And then let me go back because I want to show you one other thing. right here. The EXP Executive Master Classes. I'm going to put this in the chat, and here's why. I miss these a lot. Unfortunately, I need to put them in my calendar because it says Thursday is the day. And one thing that's really cool is Seth Siegler, who is our Chief Innovation Officer. He has been doing classes on AI. So if you're wanting to learn AI, if you just scroll down, so like here's one where he's talking about vibe coding. Let me scroll down because he's got a whole bunch right here. Putting OpenAI's deep research to work for you. So if you've ever logged into ChatGPT, um, once you like type in your question, just right below it, it'll say deep research. And so Seth goes into detail on how to use that, why to use that, and why it would be important for you. Then there's another one here, automating integrations with Zapier, which is really cool. And then there's one other one I saw right here. Custom GPTs and Canvas, OpenAI's tools. So he kind of shows you everything. And then, of course, an AI strategy. You guys have heard me before talk about Glenn's mind mapping. I love this call. I love mind mapping. So if you like mind mapping, it's kind of fun to see. Glenn actually builds one in front of you. So that's really cool. But tons and tons of classes in here. So make sure and check those out. It's all by the executive team. So really, really cool. So I put that in the chat. I'm going to actually add that to my bookmark so I can have those past classes. But yeah, really cool. Has anybody else attended those and found anything they liked? No. All right. Well, there you
Hey,
go. Now you know where to go if you want to do it.
hey, Stacie, it's Paul.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
Hey,
Paul.
hey, Seth, I was in a recruiting meeting with an agent who was talking about AI and how excited she was about it, and she's over at KW and was just talking about different classes. And I said, well, has any of the leadership, like, have you seen anything from the leadership at KW regarding AI? Because let me show you this link. And I shot her the YouTube, like, the link to the master classes, and she was blown
Oh,
away
sweet.
by just the conversation that he was having with agents about AI from somebody who actually knew what they were talking about. So
Oh,
it
so
impressed her a
cool.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that would impress me too. But it's right. There's so many people that sort of claim to be AI gurus, right? And our executive team is doing classes on it. So that's really cool. And tomorrow I go to Dallas for the EXP like leadership meeting, and we're supposed to talk part of the afternoon about AI. So I'll bring that information back to you guys. And then also Mike Del Preti is coming to our meeting tomorrow, and he's going to talk about, numbers and um, trends and statistics. And so I'll bring that back for you guys as well. So exciting stuff to come. But I'm really excited about the AI like mastermind because Leo at the regional rallies has been talking about AI. Excuse me. And so we're going to hear from him a little bit more. He gave us some new AI tools last week to look into. One of them's called Lovable, and that is where you could build a landing page really fast, like in minutes, for a listing that you're going to go on. So let's say you snap a picture, you can put it into this Lovable, and it will create like a landing page. So you show up at your listing appointment with this marketing. So he gave us all the assignment to go in there and build something. And one guy was on the call while Leo was talking and said, okay, I just built one, like while we were on this call, which was it was on Leo was only on for like 30 minutes. So that's Lovable. Lovable. No E in lovable. Another one he said to check out is windsurf, like the sport windsurf. I don't know exactly what that one does. And then he's a big fan of Perplexity. So Perplexity uses open or chat GPT in their thinking. And so that was another one he mentioned as well. So couple little news things for you.
Do you,
All right. Well,
do you mind if I ask what Leo is this?
Leo Perea. So Leo is
Oh,
the
that Leo,
CEO.
our Leo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Because I know
Yeah.
another Leo tech guy, and I thought, oh, is he a guest? But that's awesome. That's really great.
Yes. Yep.
Stacie,
Yeah.
can I ask
Good
you a quick
question.
question, sweetie?
Of course.
These platforms that you talk are potential platforms for AI, Lovable, Windsurf, and per what for
Perplexity. Perplexity. Yep. So all of them are AI tools. So actually, let me just show you quick because I bookmarked them.
Thank you.
Yes. I bookmarked so much stuff, you guys. It's crazy. Here. Now where? See, look at all these bookmarks. All right, I'll just look it up. Lovable.dev. That's the one where he said you can build basically a landing page in seconds or minutes, not seconds, sorry. So I've not played around in here, but this is the one where we were on the call and the guy built it
Wow.
while we were talking. The
Awesome.
next one is windsurf.com. And that one, I don't know that he explained what it was, but he just said this was another one to look at. It looks like it'll do workflows, agent copilot flows. I'm not exactly sure what it all does. And then the last one is perplexity.ai. And Perplexity is like, if you just go to Chat GPT, it's like that, except it's going to have a different type of voice. It's also going to use Chat GPT in it. So you might I kind of find that the longer I use Chat GPT, it almost like reverted back to being not very smart, or like it forgot my voice, or so a lot of people will switch in between these types of things to get sort of the voices that they want or the information that they want.
Stacie, I use Perplexity all the time, and I learned it from the Leo I was thinking you were talking about.
Ah,
That's why I wondered. But I'll just share with you guys, it's a search engine. The way it was explained to me is start all your searches with Perplexity, not Google. What it'll do is it'll give you the answer completely compiled with footnotes embedded. So if you want to know where it got the information, you can find it. But instead of getting links, which is what Google will give us, you get the comprehensive answer with footnotes telling you, where this came from, so you can verify.
very cool. Thank you. I'm glad you said something. What's interesting too now is all these AIs are bringing in people's information now. So one of the things that Leo Perea said was there was a guy that was searching for an investor realtor in Texas somewhere, and he's like Austin or something. He said specifically. So this client typed into Chat GPT, who's the best investor agent in Austin, Texas. This guy's name came up, a realtor at EXP. How did his name come up? By putting out content, right? Because Chat GPT or all these AIs are going to search the internet, they're going to search social. So this guy came up. Get this, he had Fixer AI attached to his email. And so it drafted a response. This guy saw it come in. He was playing Dungeons and Dragons with his kid, the realtor, the EXP realtor, saw it come in, like must have checked his email quick, clicked send the response because it was already written and it was very detailed. Fixer can be detailed or it can be short. You can set it up that way. And the potential client replied back and said, wow, the fact that you had your calendar link on here, which Fixer AI puts in automatically, the fact that you got back to me so fast and that you came up in my search is exactly why I want to choose you. Now this realtor is selling him multiple investment properties. So it just shows like AI, I don't think it's going to like take over our world, but it helps us be more efficient. And if you aren't at least proficient at it, you might get left behind. So just use it for searching, like Lisa said. Just search here first instead of Google. Look something up, ask it a question like, hey, what should I do with my day? You can even use the microphone, the dictation. So if you don't want to like type everything out, you can talk to it. You can create custom GPTs. That's in Chat GPT, and I'm sure you can in Perplexity as well. But there's so many things you can do with it. So don't be scared. Just start like searching and asking it questions like, um, sometimes I'll have to, before I got Fixer, right? And you'll respond to an email, and I am not great at making long responses in chat or email anymore. I'm good at using like emojis or like smiley face, but I'm very bulleted because I'm just like, here's what it is. Yes. And I'm not mad. It's just, I got to get it like out of my head fast. Sometimes it requires more finesse than my bullet point emails. So I would go into Chat GPT and say, hey, this is the email that I got. I need it, you know, I need you to explain that this is where they get that information or whatever, right? And then it would craft a nicer response. And I'm like, oh, yes, that's exactly what I want to say. I'm trying to go on to 50 other things. So kind of using it like that. And then of course, looking at the executive master classes and things like that will also help you know these. And all over social, it's like comment, start, comment yes if you want my what do you call it? Like thing that you put prompt that you put in, right? So you can get a whole bunch of those from people too. All right. Okay, now on to the topic that we actually have for today. Sorry, thank you for letting me talk about that. All right. That was a long one. We were just on EXP University. Sorry. All right, let me move you guys. Okay, so we're going to talk about maximizing Q3 with a winning mindset. So when you think about Q3, which it sounds crazy that we're talking about this because it is only May, but Q3 starts in July, which means it starts today for us in real estate, right? And so why Q3 is pivotal is because there are high value listings and transactions that are going to happen in Q3. Sometimes, as Jeannie mentioned to me, her and I were talking before this, that a lot of times this is people's busiest quarter, right? Also, if you're concentrating on attraction as well as production, you got to start planting those seeds right now, right? Just like when we're gardening, we've got to be planting all those seeds right now. So activity ramps up because buyers are coming back from vacation, right? Sometimes people take all their vacations as soon as school gets out. Maybe they want to move into a house before school starts. Also, nice weather prompts people to take action. Like here in my market, if it's cruddy out, like the activity slows, and then the second it gets nice out, boom, you'll see acreages selling, you'll see lots of properties selling. And so we're already in the midst of that busier market, like you might have parade of homes happening and things like that. So just being aware that right now this activity is ramping up and Q3 is the time to start securing all of that. You want to have momentum before the holiday season. So you want to have these deals written in Q3, you want them closing in Q3 so that you can get referrals during Q4, right? They used you as an agent and now you have ways to follow up with them. And then sort of this psychological reset of summer does give us a breather, but also it's a risk of losing focus because maybe you've got weddings, you've got vacations, you've got lake time, you've got kids out of school, you've got and your clients have all those same things. So while we want to enjoy the summer and we want you guys to all have sort of this balance of, I'm not expecting you to like just work all the time, but take a breather, but don't let it take over, right? Which I've done before. I've like kind of slept during summer and not planted the seeds and not really been proactive, and it showed, right? So just being aware is another thing. Some common mindset pitfalls are that vacation creep, sort of allowing a weekend mindset to stretch indefinitely. Like, how many of you were just dying to get going this morning? You're like, yay, it's Monday. I can't wait. Like, as you can see, it's like super gloomy outside. So that doesn't really like get me revved up and going. Also, sort of that tunnel vision on downtime. So, maybe you're a person that says, oh, tomorrow will be better. Oh, you know what? I'm going to organize this today, or I just need like this week to organize myself and then I'll be ready. I say that a lot, actually. We have like a code name here and it's called Mankato, which is a long story, but like I just need this like organization time. And sometimes you do, right? Sometimes you need no distractions. You just need to like focus, but you can't let that creep into week after week. And then my favorite, goal amnesia. We've forgotten or ignored the goals that we set in January, and maybe we don't even know what they are anymore. That's okay. Now is a good time to reset, review, and get back to the point. We all talk about our why, and sometimes it's really hard to anchor to your why. So instead of making it something like, oh, it's my family. Of course, I want to provide more for them, more experiences. Yes, that is true. But maybe you need to reconnect with why you chose real estate, or why did you choose these goals specifically this year? There may be something behind that that will help you keep these goals front and center. I have this planner book. This one's the full focus planner. I keep going back to it because I don't know, I've been using it for a long time now. But one of the things that I don't have in this one, because I just started it, even though it's not the beginning of a quarter, I used to put in the front of here sort of my goals like written out. Not sort of, I did. My goals written out, and then a little bit of pictures to like sort of a vision board, I guess is what I was going to say. So that way, when I flipped open my planner, I could at least see these couple things, right? So I'm visualizing that. But also, maybe for your why, you want to visualize the impact that you want to make. So maybe it's you have someone in mind or one of your favorite clients, and you're like, man, you know what I loved when they realized that they could now get this dog in the backyard, and the kids were like so excited about it. It was just fun for you because everybody was excited. They found the house of their dreams, right? Or maybe they wanted a pool. Maybe they wanted a farm. Maybe they wanted an acreage. Like kind of visualizing what you help people do, or having the specific client in mind can really help. And then sort of the emotional fuel, and that's more your why. Why, what could you use to help you get going during distractions? And maybe it is, I used to have a picture that was hanging in my office, and it was my kids, and they were little, and they're like in front of the lake, and they made these t-shirts like with their little handprints on it. And it said, Mommy, we're counting on you now. I just want to say that was more of a heart jerker than anything. Lars had actually given it to a client to do, and he did it. So I thought I'd do it. Honestly, it just made me sad when I looked at it. But it was a reminder, like, they're counting on me. What I looked at it like is they're counting on me to be at work when I'm at work, so that when I'm home, I can be home with them. Right. So maybe you have family pictures up, maybe you have your goals up on your wall. Okay, getting clarity on your goals. So reviewing your Q1 and Q2, just taking a look at it right now. What metrics did you actually hit? And where was the gap? Maybe it was you didn't make as many calls as you wanted to, you didn't put out enough social posts, maybe you didn't write enough note cards, whatever it might be. There's no guilt or shame in it. It's just taking account of what the activities were and what led to results, right? And then looking at what was your annual target. And if you didn't set one, there is no shame. You could set one now today, right? That had how many listings do you want to take, or clients? Maybe it's just clients you want to help. Do you have any recruitment goals? Maybe it's an income goal, right? And then setting those quarterly milestones. And I'm going to give you a document that I've used for a long, long time. We give to all of our coaching clients as well, that I think can help. If you'd like to have things like in a spreadsheet, or maybe you lay it out that way and use it later. So when you're mapping your plan, you might want to start backwards, right? What's your year-end target? And kind of reverse engineer that into monthly and weekly actions. This is something excellent for ChatGPT. Put in what is your goal and tell it to help you reverse engineer it into monthly and weekly actions, and give it as much information as you can, and you will get out good information. Then, of course, time blocking. And we've talked about this in many different ways. We've talked about it in an Eisenhower matrix. We've talked about it just in, having thinking time and work time and marking those out. So whatever your time block or productivity tool of choice is, it's just important to map it out and use it. And then task bundling, this also happens like in the Eisenhower matrix, but grouping those similar activities, right? It's nice to have a day where you kind of just work on paperwork, or at least that's the goal. We've talked about before how, remember salons, right? They'll have like their times in their boxes that they're available. And while that doesn't always work for us, it can help us, especially if you are going on a lot of appointments in the evenings right now. If you want to reserve an evening where you don't, or you want to have it, laid out a little bit better, kind of having that mindset of maybe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you put your appointments back to back, 4:30, 6, and then 7:30, something like that. So just kind of playing with that, depending on the type of agent you are. There's many ways to do it. Some people don't take any evening appointments. Some people like weekend appointments better. Some, work every day, no matter what. So just kind of being a little more proactive than reactive can really help, especially during the times when, you're feeling like you're running ragged. And then building habits and routines. Just kind of having, I coach with Dan Martell, and he tells us to look at our goals 3 times a day. Now, how do you remember to look at your goals 3 times a day? The only way I could was I put it on my phone. So it's like my phone screensaver. I just took a picture, putting it in my planner, and then looking at it once in the morning. And if that's not your cup of tea, figure out what is. But if you're forgetting your goals and feeling unattached and maybe unmotivated, that could be a way to really help. And then, midday check-in or end of day reflection. A lot of planners will have that. I know mine does. I'm not great at that at all. The 5-minute journal is really cool as well. So different things to help keep you in a grateful mindset. It can help you with, if you're anxious, you have anxiety about different things, and just remembering that you do win daily. You do. Even if you didn't have just the most productive day ever, you did something to win. And so remembering that is important. And then if you're looking for accountability, some structures could be, maybe you work with someone else and sort of have a power hour. It could be something as simple as you both have Zoom on, you're both muted, and you're working, right? And you can chat, or you decided you're both making calls, or, whatever, but it helps you to feel like somebody's in it with you. Another could be a weekly scorecard. If you want to keep a weekly scorecard, I think Sisu has this as well. So if you've used Sisu, or you've been in FastCap, they'll have these types of scorecards built in. And then maybe automations and reminders. Use your calendar alerts for goals and reviews and tasks. You probably all know this, but on your phone, if you set an alarm, you can like change the name. So look at all these alarms I have set, crazy. But it tells me like, remember to plan my day for tomorrow, post on social, start my Zoom for this Monday meeting, like just different things that you really need to know, that if you were busy thinking or in deep work, you would remember to do because that alarm's going off. Okay, I'm going to skip the rest of these quick and go into the 3-1-90 because I want to make sure. Oops, stop share, get this out. And I'll share this with you guys as well. Okay, so the 3190 has 3 tabs at the bottom, and it's just a Google spreadsheet, so you can break it, just so you just so you know, but there's nothing really major you're going to break in here. When I share it with you, you will have to go to this file here and go make a copy, because you're only going to have view access, and that way you have edit access and it'll be in your drive. So FYI. This first page is just getting information about your business. Ignore the part if you don't have a team, don't worry about it. Just leave that. Don't worry about those pieces. It's built for individuals and teams. So you'll put, what's the split, what's your volume, your GCI, and last year's as well. So again, where it says team, that will just be you individually. And then if you have a team, you'll put their information here. The next part is the 3190 process. Now, this looks completely overwhelming when you first look at it, but all I want you to concentrate on is this one called the 90-day world. So I'm just going to make this bigger. Oh, that didn't work out great. Sorry. All right. So we're going to concentrate on the 90-day world. So you would put either 90 days from today or the end of the quarter. So let's just do that together quick. Okay. So 9/30/25 is the end of Q3. Okay. And what you want to put in here is how many homes do you want to sell for that quarter? Now you'll see these little black marks are notes. So it tells you what each of these formulas calculate. So if you don't think the number's right, you can read what the notes are and you can go ahead and override it and change it. But all you have to fill in is the yellow on this first part of numbers, and the rest will calculate itself. Actually, I don't think the volume calculates. Oh, it does. Okay, so if I want to sell, let's say I want to sell 15 homes this quarter, okay? So this one doesn't calculate. Wait, that isn't calculating here. I think we have to put in this volume. Let's see. I might have to fix a formula on here. So volume closed. So if I take 15 homes times, let's say the average purchase price is 400,000. Okay. So that would be 6 million in volume. 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. So now what it did is it went in and it created the average amount of GCI, the gross margin, and the net profit. So let's talk about those. So GCI is going to be the full, this is actually calculated at 3%. So if we want to change that to like 275, you could do that there. Because maybe you don't always get 3%, right? So that means our gross commission income would be 165,000. Okay. After we pay the broker, and if you had team agents, but this is built for the individual agent, these calculations, you would be at 140,250. Okay, because that's taking into account 15%. Now, your number might be a little higher than that. That's okay. After you fill this out, after a while, you'll have exacts. You won't even have to use these calculations. Okay. Then, sorry, my notes keep showing up. Net profit is, we have it set at 55%. You could set it at whatever you wanted, but basically that's everything else, all the other expenses. So if you pay an admin, your postage, if you have office space, your marketing, your lead gen, your advertising, your everything, photographers, signs, all of that, right? So that means at this quarter, if you sold 15 homes, you would take home, this is before taxes, 90,750. So an average of, call it 30,000 a month. Okay. Now, what do you have to do? What would be your rocks or your goals? Like your it's not really, it's a goal, but it's like exactly what are you going to do? So what do you need to do to achieve that business for the quarter, right? So it could be, in order to get 15 transactions, one of my goals is to, create, I'll say 3 referrals from Sphere and past clients. Okay. And then how would I do that? Okay. I always like to tell people that this 3190, if I walked into your office and I read your 3190, would I know exactly what to do without asking you what to do? Okay, so think of the detail like that, because sometimes, like I mentioned, we need to be reminded. So you would write down like, so I'm going to call 10 PC Sphere, oops, a week. I'm going to start my monthly, oops, newsletter to include giveaways for participation. I'm going to maybe you do pop buys, summer, plan my summer event by July 1. So I have it in August, you know, whatever it might be. And you might have to brainstorm on another piece of paper and then write exactly what you need in here. But that's what you want. If you have a team, you're going to go into even more specifics on what's the team leader role during this time. The listing agent, buyer agent, admin role. If you have an admin, you need their role in here, and then other. Okay. You can see we've given you some prompts here. I would say this is more built for the team leader, so you can delete these. You just, you know, delete and they're done. So don't worry about those. But then go into your 1-year plan. So the end of the year, 12, 31, 25, right? And then you'll do the same thing. How many homes did you want sold? And then your 3-year vision. Now, if this like freaks you out and you're like, it's too much, concentrate on the 90-day world. You can also do the 90-day world in here, just on this third tab, and you can put in volume close, the numbers will calculate again, and you break it down into listings closed and buyers closed, and how many listings you'll need activated during that time. Then you can come in here. Remember, I said to keep track of your numbers. You can come in here and fill these out. And then you'll know, and then it'll give you a difference. So every time you close something, put in your closed, and it'll tell you how close you are to meeting your goal. And then you can put your rocks in here as well, or put them in here and, you know, work off of this document. It's whatever's easier for you. Sometimes this was really meant to be the tracker, but then people would forget their rocks. So we just added it here again. So let me go ahead and share this. I'm going to share again, view access with you. So don't forget, you have to go file, make a copy. So any questions on that?
I feel like everybody should add some level of AI learning as one of their roles.
That's a good one. Yes. Then we could do an AI mastermind like at the end, you know, in a few months and see what people are using and how they used it. That would be awesome, guys.
Carrie Zier, our VP of luxury, told me that she heard recently that within, say, 24 months, the main search results are going to be more like what Perplexity is doing. And just like what happened with that agent, you know,
Yeah.
that now is really the time, just like if we were to transport ourselves back in time when SEO started to be a thing, and the people who really jumped on SEO early, you know, really still benefit from it. But it's the same thing now. There's some different things you could be doing to be easily found with AI, and that should be one of all of ours as professionals, whatever it is. If it's for sales, if it's for attraction, whatever, now is kind of like those early days of SEO about getting yourself found, that whatever you do now, because, you know, the reality is what 90% of the population is not yet on board with AI and all these advanced searches. The
Yes,
people who get on with it early can really benefit from it for a long, long time.
for sure. Joe put in the chat and I sent it to everyone, but Mike Wiseman is doing an 8-week AI training on Mondays, and there's the information. Thank you, Joe, for telling us about that. That's awesome. So it's an 8-week program. There's probably some kind of cost to it. I'm not sure what it is, but Mike is really great.
It's free.
It's free. Oh my gosh. He's an
Yeah, it's
agent
free, open
in,
to everybody. So he's in Midcoast, Maine, over near Bowdoin
yeah.
College. Well, I know him pretty well. He's in my Rev Share coaching course. But he's putting this out, and we'll call this the trial run, putting this together, and then it'll be recorded, but he's going to end up disseminating and sharing it with his entire Rev Share organization. But he's opening it up to anybody in Hive. It's just everybody for Family Tree. It's just something to give back to EXP for all the benefit EXP's given to him.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
that's really cool. Yeah.
And it starts today.
Today at 1300
Today's-
Eastern. Oh, sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern.
So this Claude link here is the link to sign up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just open
So
it.
Claude is one of many AI things that are out there. He's going to go into different types of AI tools, but the way it's structured, at least from the conversations we've had outside of it, is Monday is going to be, hey, this is how to do everything for 8 different weeks. And there's going to be like a short Thursday one where, hey, let's see what you did with it, or application wise. But the main one is pretty much Monday. He's going to show and teach how to use all these different tools that are out there, because there's so many AI tools that are out there, but the problem is people don't know how to use them.
For sure. Yep. And it
Yeah.
changes at such a rapid speed. Like it's so good just to stay on top of it as much as you can. Very cool. Thank you. All right. There's that link in there if you guys want to grab that. And then the link to the spreadsheet above that.
Joe,
Let's-
maybe drop that in the Facebook group so that people can find it.
All right.
Yes. Oh, actually, Lovely can. I can
Okay,
have Lovely do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Lovely, can you drop
I'm already
this
running
last
behind
one?
schedule.
Yep.
I actually scheduled too many appointments today, so I'm glad they're all on Zoom.
Good. Yeah. Lovely. If you want to put that spreadsheet in there and then also the Mike Wiseman training, that would be great. All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Anything anybody else has? Questions, comments? You can send concerns to Janie at, no, I'm kidding.
All
Nope,
right.
we did. All right. Okay, so we won't see you next Monday. We'll see you the Monday after. Janie will be training. And don't forget about Tuesdays. Tell your peeps, invite guests to the collaborative call. All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye.